people, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. How are you? I'm here with Hayden. Good to see all of you lot, you little lot. I've missed you the last couple of days. Decided to go to the game. If you remember back, if you cast your minds back to early Saturday morning, I did a 9:30 or 10 o'clock show for half an hour. Went on to Football Inc. with Johnny, and then had the taste of cider, and then went, I'm going. So I got up there, and it ends up being the way. Oh, I can hear myself. It ends up being a certain way, And then I wake up Sunday morning with lockjaw, believe it or not. I went to bed early doors Sunday night. I got back home about 10:30, went to sleep, and then I woke up Monday morning. Wake up Sunday morning, and my jaw couldn't open. So I was like, "What's going on? I can't clench. I can't eat. I can't do anything." And I'm not going to tell you what I got up to on Saturday night, because that would just be spoiling the surprise. Big up to you all. You know what we're doing here. We're here to discuss everything that happened, everything that's going to happen. Are we down? Are we up? De Zerbi says it ain't over yet. We got some things to chew over for the next little while, guys. So smash the like button for me on the video. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Notification button should be squeezed. Comments should be dropped. And also, don't forget to check out all the socials. Stream Elements is coming down. You can find me on Instagram at the Spurs. Say that again. The Spurs Talk Show on Instagram. Spurs Talk Show on Twitter. You can find Spurs Talk Show on Apple Pods, Amazon, and Spotify. Please get over and follow, rate, and review. Hayden, how are you, my man? Good to see you, bro. You okay? You're on mute.
All good, thanks, mate. Yeah, good to see you on Saturday, even if it was quite brief. But all good. Just sort of coming to terms with the fact that I think it's probably more likely than not that we are going to go down. But as you said, he said it's not over. Technically it's not. All momentum and form and everything else would sort of suggest otherwise. But, until it's, mathematically done, then I guess we just got to, get behind the team and bloody hope for the best. So, but all good, thanks.
Mate, we got to talk about it, because you know what? I saw so much. I was so devastated, mate. I saw for everyone's watching. In fact, just quickly, before I forget, because I know Box Kev is about to jump on a plane. He's about to fly back to California. Boxy, thank you so much, as always, my man. You don't need to do that every time, mate. It's becoming a habit, and it's incredibly generous, my man. But as I said to you when I met you, it was awesome to meet you, by the way, in the 8 bar before the game on Saturday, mate. You are an incredibly young, youthful-looking 40. Are you 44, 46, something? I forget. But you look younger than Hayden, mate. Unbelievable. But choo to you, mate. And congratulations on all of your sales skill sets and stuff in the AI world, mate. Great to meet you. Have a safe flight back, mate. Couple of glasses of vino, kick back, lie that seat flat out, and dial in for the next 12 hours, mate. And hopefully when you wake up, Crystal Palace have taken 3 points off of West Ham. Big up to you, my man, Boxy. I really appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much, bro. Safe flight, buddy. And Leroy, but big up to you, Leroy. Good to see you, mate. I was hoping to bump into you. In fact, I didn't want to bump into you, mate, because if I bump into you, I think I'd bounce off you and end up back by Seven Sisters Station. The size of the man, Leroy Hayden. I don't know if you know Leroy. Have you met him? He's about 17 foot tall. He's got hands like absolute shovels, mate. I feel like I've got a medium to sort of largish size hands. It was engulfing. It was engulfing and quite emasculating, shaking this man's hand. Big up to you, Leroy. Thank you for the membership, my man. I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, mate. Lock in for the show, mate. We're about to get going. I want to get started, Hayden, by asking you about this, right? Because I don't know what to do, because I was so very impressed with the way Tottenham played. The atmosphere at the stadium was sensational. I was heartbroken by the fact that we conceded a goal. The lovely lady called Kaz, who sits in front of me. I don't know if she's watching. I doubt it, but she cried after the game, because I think she was an emotional roller coaster throughout the game. So was I. Like all of us around. Jim from Oso Spurs sits behind me. There's a lot of people that sit in my vicinity that we know from the online space, and we were all so unbelievably gutted. But I saw enough, mate. I did see enough in that performance to think it isn't over. And the reason, before I get your opinion on it, I want to show you this, right? So I'm not condoning gambling or anything, but I put this bet on the bottom one here. So you can see the top one I've done, right? That's just always bet So I've had a bet West Ham to win tonight, not because I'm more than happy to lose 15 quid, right? I'm more than happy to lose it, but it makes it a little bit less painful if the inevitable happens. But the one at the bottom, so I put this bet on, I don't know. I've got another bet on Betfair, which was at 15 to 1, but I didn't put as much on. But 85 quid to return £600, which will hopefully pay for a season ticket if we go down. But I would pay £2,000 right now out of my own back pocket for Tottenham to stay up. That is how much I want them to stay up. But I could cash out right now for £311. I asked this question on the WhatsApp group. There's absolutely no reason to cash out, right? Because if West Ham win tonight, but do you think Tottenham can get out of it? Do you think Tottenham can get out of it, Hayden?
I think we can get out of it based on Forest's last 5 games. That's now where I'm sort of trying to have some sort of positivity. I completely agree with you though. Like throughout the whole game, I did actually think that maybe minus a few players, we played relatively well for most of the game. There were like spells where it was a bit flat and like the ball wasn't really being progressed that well. There was a few play. I don't think like we've seen in sort of recent weeks and months where we've seen like more than half the team just not playing well at all. I think the game on Saturday, I think there were sort of like, for me anyway, there were like 3 players that didn't play very well. But the rest, I didn't really have too much of a problem with. I just think it's Danso's been reliable when he's had to come in, and then he just happens to make a mistake in the 94th minute, was it? That he wouldn't normally make. He's almost like the new like Ben Davis of the team in terms of like he'll always give you a 7.5 out of 10. Never be amazing, never be bad. But obviously he's just made sort of one of the only major mistakes that I can remember him making. And it just happened to be for their goal, which is just like, I mean, if that doesn't sum up our season, then I don't know what does. But
he was fantastic. I don't think he was a 7 out of 10 that game. I thought he was brilliant, mate. I think he mopped up everything. I thought I was singing his name. I thought, fuck Romero. Who cares about Romero? We got Danzo at the back, and he was so good. But just that lapse of concentration in the 94th minute.
Yeah.
And by the way, I see the comment here from someone from PH Family discussing horrendous about the race. Yeah, absolutely horrendous. With all these things, though, you don't know who it is that's doing it. Like I don't believe. I mean, obviously, there's probably some Tottenham fans that are doing it, but you don't know with social media, do you? You don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
You hope that they're not England based. You hope that they're coming from some like ill-educated part of the world where. Like I'm pretty sure when last week against Sunderland, Brian Brobby got it as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I think most people kind of looked into some of the people that were doing it on Twitter, and the accounts were set up in Argentina, where Argentina's got obviously not to throw dispersions on the country as a whole, but there's certainly like a bit more of a looser take on racial connotations. Not that it's acceptable at all; it's disgusting.
Yeah.
But you would hope that the vast majority of those people that said those things about Brian Brobby and against Kevin Danso. I haven't seen any of the Kevin Danso stuff. I don't go out of my way to look for it. But you would hope that A, that they're not Tottenham fans, and B, that they're not from the UK, right? Because we have standards in the UK that not everybody else in the world wants to live up to or to hold themselves to. But either way, it's pretty poor, and thoughts go out to both of them, really, to everyone that receives that sort of unnecessary hate, right?
It's awful, yeah. I mean, there's obviously just like no place for it in the game. There's no place for it anywhere. Any walks of life is there. So yeah, it's just an absolute joke. It's probably like, I mean, you'd like to think that it's just bots and it's just some sort of algorithm crap that's going on. You'd like to think there's not actually like people behind their keyboards actually typing that sort of stuff. But yeah, disgusting behavior from them.
Even if it's bots, like whoever's setting those bots up, it's just awful. I don't know. Intent. The intent there is just fucking sick, isn't it? So yeah,
exactly. Like
absolutely condemnation of that sort of behaviour.
It's ridiculous. Like it's 2026, and we're still like having to speak about like racism in football. Like it's just a joke, to be honest. So I hope those people all get caught and get found out. But
But he put in a fantastic performance.
Yeah.
Until that moment, right?
Yeah, my point around sort of the 7.5 out of 10 was like, I mean, over like a season, he'll be that just like Mr. Consistent 7.5 out of 10. I thought during the game he was good. Like, he probably got like an 8.5, like, if to do ratings or whatever. But obviously, yeah, he just had one error, and that error just cost us. And obviously that can happen in football. It can happen to any player at any given moment. But like, it just happens to be that was the moment where we just needed a little bit of security at the back, and he makes that mistake, and it's just cost us. But yeah, as you were sort of alluding to earlier, I'm not like unhappy with the performance. Like,
best performance for many a week or a month, right?
Yeah, maybe minus Atletico, but
yeah, okay.
That was a different sort of game, wasn't it? Like, were they on the beach a little bit because they were sort of 5-2 up, and obviously like Premier League. I know I'm not comparing Brighton to Atletico, but it's a league game. It's different sort of opponent. So yeah, you could argue that maybe was even a better one, though we didn't win. But yeah, it's just a real shame that has cost us, because as you said, I thought we played well. I don't think, for me, there were like three players in sort of like Porro, Moani, and Solanke that were frustrating me quite a lot. But aside from that, I don't really think anyone had a bad game. I thought Kinsky did well. He's done well.
And two obscene finishes. I mean, I haven't seen the highlights. In fact, you weren't at the game, but you watched it on TV, yeah? So I do want to ask you a couple of questions. But before I get off the topic, though, I just want to also sort of give some... I want to move, before we get onto Porro, because I'd like to go through the individual players a little bit here, because I think the connotations are not just around what happened in the game, but obviously what do we learn and what can we do against Wolves, because we have to win probably 3 of our final 5 if we've got any chance at all, depending on what happens tonight. Yeah. But like, I do want to sit there and I don't know, with regards Xavi Simons, right? This might wind people up in the comments. I don't mean to, but just from the perspective of the game that I saw, which is row 44 in the South Stand. So I don't get to see all the replays. I don't get to see the specifics, and obviously some of the chances that De Zerbi, that Xavi Simons were involved with were down the other end of the pitch, which is a long way away from where I sit.
Yeah.
People are sitting there saying, for those people, take away the racial stuff, just the fact people go, Kevin Danso fucked us, right? Like, stick it out into touch and we win the game.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I'd actually sit there and say there's 90 minutes before then. Xavi Simons had arguably his most creative game for a long, long time in a Tottenham shirt. However, I would say that it was incredibly selfish of him to not lay the ball across to the side a minute after we scored the first goal. When we win the ball back, and Dominic Solanke does absolutely fantastically well to hustle and bustle and win the ball and then carry it forward, knocks it inside to Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons does his juke to his left, to his right. Again, I'm 120 meters back or whatever, so haven't seen the replay. But from my perspective and to people around me, yes, he wins the chance and he has a shot and it hits the post. But if he just lays it across to Moani, we're 2-0 up, unless Moani absolutely has a stinker. And there's every chance that Moani might blaze it over the bar or whatever else. There is every chance.
Yeah, there is, let's be real.
But there was that moment, and there was another moment in the 96th minute. Yeah. And I can't remember who it was, when we could have won the game 3-2, and it was Archie Gray who hustles and bustles and jukes left and jukes right. And he just, was it Kevin Danso? I forget who it was that was...
Udogie, maybe?
Was it Udogie was still on the pitch, right? Maybe, was it Udogie? If he just literally lays it off to Udogie, then Udogie's basically got a free hit, right? So, we could have won the game at the end, but again, poor choices, poor decision-making in the final move. So, when people were sitting there saying Kevin Danso spoiled the party and Xavi Simons is doing his, tantrum, well, I don't know. There were other things in that game. There were other moments in that game that no one was at their best for with decision making. Yeah, but we didn't need to put us in that situation in the first place. Is that fair, or am I being harsh?
No, I think that's fair. I think, I agree with those two chances. I think the Xavi one was just before half time, wasn't it? He could have squared it. I actually saw the image of that earlier again. Moani's got an open goal really, and he's 6-7 yards out.
Even he couldn't miss it, right?
Well,
yeah. Could he?
maybe.
I'm shocked. I am stunned. Well, I'm not that shocked.
Yeah, that's the thing with him at the moment. So yeah, but like obviously, like you would like to think that that's a better chance in terms of, you know, if we're talking XG, that square to Moani's probably got a higher XG than Javi at an angle trying to, you know, bend it around a goalie. So yeah, in theory, he should have passed it. But you know, I think what happens is when players are under pressure, we're in a relegation fight, there's a lot of sort of anxiety around the game. Players maybe aren't in that sort of normal headspace as they would be if they're going into sort of, you know, a normal game, say if we're like further up the table or if there's sort of not as much on the line. So sometimes I guess like decision making can be a bit off in terms of like, shit, I'm in front of goal, shoot. So I think you have to give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt around that, because I don't think it's a normal situation. There's like anxiety through the players maybe that, you know, wouldn't be there if it was more like, you know, we were sixth and we were like, we needed a draw to maybe go fifth and we then play Chelsea and that could decide a top 4 spot, you know, like that sort of stuff. That's like, you know, all well and being. But I think, yeah, with the pressure on the game, I think you've sort of got to expect some players to maybe not be as sort of, you know, I don't know what the word is, maybe just a sort of like fluid with their like decision making. But yeah, for me, yeah, again, if they are elite players, then you'd like to think that they maybe can sort of counteract that a little bit. But I think another thing is a lot of these players haven't been in a relegation fight ever. So like this for them, it's a whole new sort of situation. So I think that there's also that to bring into play. So yeah, for me, yeah, it's just I think as we sort of know, it's like a number of variables that are sort of making us be in the situation that we're in and maybe things that we're seeing also on the pitch. But yeah, there was obviously 2 chances there where, you know, could have been easy goals. But I think I saw just in the chat now, if that was a square to Danso and he was on his own running from like 25 to 30 yards out, how confident are we that he's going to run another 15, 20 yards and slot it home as a centre-back? So there's that, you know, there's so many different variables and so many things to bear in mind. But yeah, there were definitely chances.
You've only got a split second to make your mind up, haven't you? But I don't even know if Archie Gray was aware of the play on the left-hand side. You know, I think his head was down at the time. But like, mate, the limbs would have been insane when we scored our second goal, mate, into the south stand. It was like, I don't know what to compare it to, but we were
nuts.
We went absolutely nuts.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It felt like almost when Lucas Moura scored the third goal. I mean, I wasn't in Ajax that night. I was in a pub in Waterloo with my dad, but it was that jubilant. You were at Ajax. You were in Ajax that game that night. Wow. Unbelievable. What a memory that must have been. Really.
That was, I can only imagine what it was like. But yeah, that Moura goal was like, I think I had like 90 seconds where I just genuinely had absolutely no idea what like happened to me. I lost my shirt. Fell over. My dad absolutely stacked it down some steps and like smashed his shin in. I'm absolutely covered in beer, and I'm wearing a hat, and it's like spun around the other way.
Yeah. I mean,
can't imagine it was quite like that, but
it wasn't like that. But like the hugs, the straight. You know, there's nothing like hugging a stranger.
Oh yeah.
Like I was doing on. We were like standing on our chair. It was limbs. Like it was limbs, and it's the first time this season that I experienced it, because I genuinely thought that was it. 2-1 up. Right, because Tottenham at Tottenham this season, we're not used to anything other than, you know, being pegged back, right? Being pegged back or going down 1-0 down and then just sitting there going like this and holding out until the 94th minute. But unfortunately, I even said to the guy who sat next to me, right? It was the 44th minute, and he turned around and goes to me, "Why aren't you?" Because I usually go out around the 40th minute to go and queue up and get my beer, and every single time that I do, Tottenham concede. Right, so I turned around and said to him, "I'm not leaving. I've decided that I am the reason why Tottenham concede so many goals late in the first half, because it always happens. You come out of my section, and they've got like all the TVs on the walls, right? And outside the bar areas, like back, like you have to go into a cubbyhole to get your beer, right?
Yeah,
and in there they've got a TV in there, but they don't show the game. They show Sky Sports News in there, and it's wound me up for like the last year and a half. I've always like, why can't Tottenham just swap the TV or turn the channel over so that if you're queuing up for your beer, you can still watch the last few minutes of the game? And they don't do it. So I said to the guy, I'm not going because we always concede. And he was like, yeah, good. You sit down. I'm going to handcuff you to the chair. And then we concede anyway. We always concede in injury time. I'd love to look at the amount of goals that Tottenham have conceded at home this season and see the ratio of them that are happening just before half-time when the game's in flux. So we concede that one, an unbelievable finish from Mitoma. And obviously we concede again in injury time. Like it's those little things like concentration in the dire moments of the half. Like if you're conceding a goal at half-time just takes the jam out of everyone's donut, right? It completely pops your balloon. And again, the same at the end of the game, like a fantastic finish from Rutter. When he came, in fact, both of those substitutions were forced by injuries, Hayden.
Yeah.
And yet as soon as they came on, I would rather Gomez have stayed on the pitch than bring on Mitoma. So that's to the guy the other side of me. Like, I agree. And then when Danny Welbeck came off and Rutter comes on, like he's going to score against us, no doubt about it. And they did. Both of the substitutions scored. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just proves we're cursed. The fact that they were forced into two subs through injury, and then those two players that might not have even come on if it wasn't for the injury are the two that then score against us. It's just like, what? It's just mad, isn't it? But yeah, I would tend to agree actually on that sort of injury time thing. Like, and it'd be interesting to see how many we've conceded, especially the first half injury time. Like, I'm the same as you. I normally always go down like 42, 43, just to try and get ahead of the queues for go to the toilet and get a drink. And there's been so many times where I've been in the toilet and heard a roar. But when you hear a roar, but it's like a quiet roar. So you're like, that isn't a home roar, that's an away roar.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. And then some bloke comes in and goes, oh yeah, like it's 1-0, or oh yeah, like they're winning 1-0, and you're like, oh, all right, great.
Yeah.
I can actually, I can probably count more than on one hand and how many times I actually feel like that has happened this season. And then going into half time when you're not winning, one, it obviously changes the team talk, and two, it's just like a little dagger, isn't it? It's just not great. It always seems to be, as you've said, in those dying moments, is it just naivety from the players, lack of concentration? They just think that it's all done. It's just like, oh yeah, we'll just ride it out. It'll be fine for a few minutes, and then bam. But again, this probably just taps into their mentality and probably also alludes to why we are where we are in the league. So,
what did you think of the because I felt like Tottenham won the midfield battle, and it's not often you can sit there and say that, right? But they got like a decent midfield, Brighton. Pascal Gross is a very competent player. Who's the other fella? What the fuck's the guy's name? My memory's terrible right these days. But I thought Bissouma and Conor Gallagher not so much Conor Gallagher, but I think that kind of the midfield three that started off for Tottenham were
Bentancur was all right.
Bentancur was fantastic. I always give Bentancur a really hard time. I don't rate him. Like, I don't rate him as a player generally, but I do think that he is the best of what we have at the moment in terms of experience, in terms of ability to kind of control the tempo. And I felt his ability to cut the game channels out. For me, Brighton played such a ridiculously high line, but they changed it up. In the first sort of 15 minutes, they had a deeper line, but Tottenham didn't press the defense. Tottenham didn't press the goalkeeper immediately. They allowed them to play the ball out and then press the life out of the midfield. And that's a massive change, a massive shift from what Thomas Frank was doing and what Igor Tudor was doing. And then Brighton, obviously, Hertzler adapted and then said, okay, if that's what they're going to do, then push their defensive line up to the halfway line in possession and, to be honest, get in and out of possession. But I felt like Tottenham needed to sort of adapt in game a little bit. Once they saw the pivot from Hertzler, they needed to then start to get people running into channels. And I think we were looking for it. I think Destiny Udogie was looking for it, always making runs in the first half. You could see, from my perspective, you could see him making runs that then weren't activated on by Micky van der Ven or by Danzo. But I feel like there's signs there. There's like signals and triggers that I feel like if Tottenham can get a little bit better with. I know we're running out of time massively here, but I don't know. I feel like as much as it looks bleak, as much as like if West Ham win tonight, we're at least 2 games away from being able to get back out of the relegation battle, Hayden. I feel like De Zerbi for me is bringing something that gives me cause to not think it's completely done just yet. What's your take on it, mate?
Yeah, I agree. I think that midfield 3 was, I think it was probably Gallagher's best game for us. Well, I don't think that's actually probably. I think it is. He just had more like tenacity and sort of like energy, like in his game. I felt like he was sort of getting around a bit better and sort of doing a bit more. Whereas he's been a bit of a passenger since he's signed for us. So I feel like, Bentancur, obviously it was his first game in a long time, and I think he had a pretty good game, like considering he's been out for a while.
Yeah, he didn't look ring rusty to me at all.
No, probably quite a lot of responsibility on him as well, because it might be a bit like you've been out for a while. When you were playing, I know like a lot of people hated the double pivot, but when him and Paulinho were playing together, we were actually quite solid. And I think there's a stat going around that we only lost quite a small percentage of games when they started together. So there was probably a little bit of pressure on him, sort of thinking, right, I'm back now. I need to sort of really try and help the team. He was probably like the best sort of passer that we've got sort of out of those 3, I would say. And Bissouma, again, obviously he's not really played that much at all this season, and I felt like he had a relatively good game. So it's almost like if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think going into Wolves, being away, I would almost stick with it. I just stick with those 3. I do prefer Javi in the middle, even though we did have a really good game on the weekend. But it's like, who else do you play out there if you're not playing him? So I think you've got to just...
Well, Xavi Simons, for me, I liked him. In the first half, I felt it was a little bit wasteful. Right? I felt at times he didn't get stuck in. He got thrown off the ball a little bit too much. But obviously, he came out, like, De Zerbi threw the gauntlet down to him and said, I need you to score more goals. I need you to be more, have more conviction, essentially, in your output. And he did, right? He put in a lovely little chip for, by the way, Pedro Porro scoring a header.
Mental.
Absolutely mental, right? But a fantastic header. Yeah. Gets the goal. Limbs galore. It's fantastic. And it's just a shame, obviously, we conceded at the end of the first half. We should have scored straight away afterwards. Yeah. Our tails were up. And you look at the Wolves game coming up on the weekend, mate, and you think Wolves conceded 4 against West Ham, conceded 4 against Forest. Are they now feet up, or are they gonna turn up against Tottenham?
You know what's going to happen? They've conceded 4 against West Ham, 4 against Forest, so they'll score 4 against us.
Wolves have got a fantastic record against Tottenham, haven't they? We don't really beat Wolves very often.
Yeah, I went to Wolves away a few years ago when Traore got that winner right at the end where he smacked it off the bar and it went in. And that was not an enjoyable away day. I don't really remember too many wins over Wolves over the last few years. I remember going to a couple of home games and they beaten us, I think. So it's not great from that angle. But yeah, obviously Wolves are they had that bit of an uplift, didn't they, for maybe like 8 weeks where they were sort of playing football again. And they look sort of like, their new guy. It's Rob Edwards, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looked like he sort of got them playing again, and everyone was like, "Oh no, like they're too far down. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it." And then it's sort of, they've come out the other side of that, and they are obviously just clearly not good enough. So I think we're obviously playing a team that you'd want to be playing with the points that we need. But I don't think, I don't really think you can change too much. I want to see Spence at right back, if I'm being honest. I know Porro got the goal, but he just frustrates the life out of me with some of his like passing and positioning. So I would quite like to see Spence at right back. And Mawani, God, like the amount of times he was miscontrolling the ball and just letting it slip from under his feet, or his first touch was bad.
Yeah, he's frustrating, and he's so frustrating, that guy.
So frustrating, but it's it's annoying because you can see there is a player in there, but
would you play Tel on the right hand side?
Yes, I would. I think, yeah, I would, because I think
I remember that game, right? Tel when he first comes on the right hand side, because I've seen him play on the right hand side before earlier this few games ago. I think it was under Igor Tudor, where he's playing down the left hand side, and then because of a substitution, he moves over to the right hand side. But he was handy on the left because he wants to cut in. But on the right hand side, he can only cut to the byline, right? And he's not quite as useful. But in the first 5 minutes of him coming on the pitch yesterday on Saturday, he cuts to the byline, beats his man, beats the left back, and then puts in a delicious ball into the area. But there's nobody in the box.
That's the thing.
There's nobody in the box. It drives me like if you've got three midfielders on the pitch, and you know that Dominic Solanke has been drawn out as part of the hold-up, part of the build-up play, one of Gallagher, Bissouma, or Bentancur, all of whom have the capability to be box-to-box players, one of them has to see that positional, like the kind of the sacrifice of Solanke getting pulled out and move across, right? Or get into the box. Sorry, but they 100%. Didn't do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like out of those three in midfield, I feel like Gallagher would be the most natural one to be that late runner into the box because he's done it at Chelsea and done it at Palace. I feel like he would be the one, if anyone, if Tel has the ball, he's crossing it into Richarlison, I hope, because Solanke for me again was non-existent. I feel like you need that player on the edge of the box where if Tel is playing on the right and he's whipping in the ball into Richie and then the defender clears it, you need a player on the end of the box. And I think that Gallagher's probably best suited to that. So I agree on that front. And obviously if we're going down the right hand side, it means that Javi can sort of cut in from the left and be a bit more sort of like further down the middle if the play's, on the right hand side. So I think, Javi on the left, I would have Richie up front just because I'm not seeing enough from Solanke at the moment.
I want to find out why. I want to find out why, right? But Solanke got. I mean, I know he did do that movement for the second goal that could have been that wasn't. He got a 7.3, right? Solanke. I haven't actually looked at this. So let's find out where did he get. I mean, look at that. There's no heat map. That's not a. If you were looking at that as a heat map and you were going, what position is Dominic Solanke? Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
You wouldn't say he's a striker, would you?
No, you'd say he's like a right-sided number 8. Or a left-sided number 8. Sorry.
Yeah, he's an 8, isn't he? He's a floater. He's an unflushable shit. He's a floater. I mean, what are we doing here? So, how many touches did he have? He didn't have that many touches, did he? So 0 assists, big chances created 1. That was the one to Mathys Tel. Key passes 1. Dribbles, irrelevant. Not interested in
touches. 50% dribble.
Yeah, 2 shots. Right. 2 shots, both blocked in front of the keeper, in front of the straight away in front of the defender. Yeah, largely kind of irrelevant, right? Largely irrelevant.
So how the hell has he got a 7.4?
I don't know. Yeah, so look, dribbles 2 out of 4, touches 34, was fouled twice, possession lost 8, carried the ball 134 meters. I mean, even that. Look, I mean, most of his movement there is off the left hand side. It's like you have if that's what the role that he's been given is to float around and to sort of not be the fox in the box, then you have to look at one of these three in Bissouma, Bentancur, and Gallagher. You have to look for one of them and say you got to fill the gap. You have to fill in the gap. Or Mawani, right? I mean, look at Mawani's. How many touches? Oh, Jesus Christ!
I think you got to drop him. I think you have to drop him, and just if we really need something else, just bring him on touches for a bit of chaos. Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it? Lost the ball 4 times.
He's done absolutely nothing there. Done absolutely fucking nothing.
Nice. I would bring Mawani. I'd bring out Mawani, Solanke, and Porro, and bring in Spence, Tel, and Richalison. That was Spence.
What you play? Where would you play Spence?
Right back.
Oh, you drop Pedro Porro, would you?
I know he scored, but I just find him so frustrating with the ball, and his positional play. He kept getting caught out of position. I just find him super frustrating to watch. I know that not many other people agree. But I don't know. I just feel like we just need something else down that right hand side. There is an argument that if you've got Tel and Porro, there could be a bit of overlap there.
I don't think you can drop because you haven't got. Where's the passing coming from without Pedro Porro?
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
How did Kevin Danso get a 5 point? He's the worst player on the Tottenham pitch, according to this.
It's just because of what happened at the end, isn't it? That's all it is.
I don't even know if SofaScore's algorithm is that smart. Ground duels, what? He only won 1 out of 6. Oh, that's pretty poor. 2 out of 5 aerial duels. Dribbled past 3 times. Maybe Kevin Danso didn't have as great a game as I thought he did. I don't know. I felt at the time, but I felt on the day watching it from where I did. I thought he was pretty impressive, But
yeah, I thought he was all right. I didn't, I wouldn't have said that he'd be the worst ranked player on the pitch there. But again, I don't really know how credible SofaScore is, to be honest. But
and their algorithm is pretty basic. Let me ask you this, mate. Did you, in the pub you were in, did you get to hear the atmosphere? Was the TV dialed up, or were you watching it in silence?
I could hear the atmosphere. It was weird. I basically had I was with a mate and we were sort of in a corner of a pub almost, and they had speaker with the telly on, so I could hear it. But the 3/4 of the other pub was a birthday party, so there was music, so it was a bit off. But I could hear the atmosphere pretty well. Yeah, it sounded relatively good. I mean,
the atmosphere was insane. Right? The atmosphere was fantastic. But my question was going to be about the referee, because the fans at the stadium who don't have the benefit of looking at replays, and obviously 30, 40 yards away from the referee or from the play, in the stadium we were singing, "You don't know what you're doing. Who's the wanker in the blue?" It was pretty much universal that we felt like we weren't getting any of the rub at all during the game. But as I came out of the stadium, I texted into the WhatsApp group and asked the guys that were obviously watching it at home, what was your overall thoughts on the referee? And most people in the chat were saying referee was fine.
Yeah, he was fine.
So he was fine, was he?
I thought he was fine. There's obviously going to be 4 or 5 decisions that you get a game where you're like, what? But I think that sort of happens every game. Obviously, the Sunderland game, there were 45 decisions where we were like, what? Rather than 5, because that ref was, I don't even know what he was on that day. But yeah, it felt like, from what I could see, the replays, watching it live on TV, the ref was relatively fine. He didn't really have a stinker. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of people that did feel like that challenge on Udogie was a penalty. Not for me. No.
I didn't think that was either, to be honest.
They sort of just crossed, and there wasn't enough in it. It's just one of those ones where they sort of cross paths, and there's obviously they're just quite close to each other. But for me, there wasn't really much in that at all. But I have seen some accounts on X since post absolute nailed on, and pretty reputable accounts as well. And I'm just a bit.
This one here, for example. Hang on, let me show you.
I wasn't going to call him out, but here we go.
I don't know if this is. I might get myself shut. I might do it anyway. Already, fuck it. This one here. Yeah. So,
yeah.
To me, that doesn't look like. That's not. Where's the pen there?
From there, it does look like that they've tangled legs a little bit, sort of halfway through the movement. But I saw it from a different angle on the replay on Sky, and I was like, nah.
It's definitely not a pen, in my opinion. It's coming together,
Definitely not a pen. But yeah, I've just seen someone in the chat say if that was Arsenal, that's obviously a pen, isn't it? So
Mate, is Arsenal bottling it the only reprieve we've got this season? I mean,
the only one, yeah.
Why is it that Arsenal fans are all it's still in their hands, right? If Arsenal win all of their games and win by a higher margin of goals than Man City do, then they still win the title, right? So it's not like they have. Am I wrong? But City are still 3 points behind with a game to play, and there's 1 goal difference. So if Man City win that game 1-0, then
it's completely level.
Completely level.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Because Arsenal are sitting there going, we're fucked out here, and I'm like, well. It's still in your hands. All you've got to do is just win by more goals. Just win every game, win by more goals than City, and it's still your title. But they're writing it off like it's. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be like, it ain't done. We've been pegged back, but it's still in our hands technically. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all, but I think this just alludes to what Arsenal fans are like. This is the third year in a row that it's happened. City, City always do it towards the end of every season. It normally happens a little bit earlier. It's been a little bit later this season. Pep finds a way. Pep manages to finally figure out the sort of winning formula that will work against any team that he comes up against. And this year he's found it late March, early April. Normally he finds it, like late Feb, mid-Feb. But Arsenal fans are they're just absolute head loss because it's happened for the third year in a row. And they know what City are going to do. And they know what Arsenal usually do. Arsenal in April is just like a bit of a meme now. Isn't it?
Horrendous, mate. Horrendous.
It's actually really funny.
Whereas City in April and May is like Sunday Tiger. Put on the red shirt and just come through,
It's mad. I think the main reason why Arsenal fans think it's over is because they've seen it before. They get to April, the bottle starts, City go rampant, and it's absolutely bloody lovely stuff, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Do you think Tottenham are going to stay up, or are you completely convinced we're going to go down?
I think I saw enough on Saturday that I think there's a glimmer of hope. If it was more towards the Sunderland performance, even though the ref was probably the main reason why we lost that game, I'd be a bit more concerned. I feel like, it's probably done. I think there's a glimmer of hope purely for the fact that we look like we're playing better. We've got a few more players back from injury. And Forest's last 5 games are pretty tough.
Let's have a look at them.
If West Ham win tonight, that'll probably... I reckon we've got about a 15% chance of staying up. If West Ham win tonight, I think it goes down to about 10.
Are we saying that Leeds are done? Are we saying that Leeds are fine, are we?
They're 9 clear, aren't they? 8 clear.
8 clear, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to play Burnley at home. I mean, let's be honest.
Oh, let's walk it through. So Bournemouth away. I think Bournemouth win that one, right?
Bournemouth away. Do Bournemouth have anything to play for at the moment? I don't even know where they are in the league.
Let me get it up. Hang on.
Bournemouth are 8th. Yeah, they've got a lot to play for, so they can still finish 6th. They're actually joint points with Chelsea. So you'd like to think that Bournemouth are still going to go for it because they can get Europa League probably their first time ever. Must be.
It would be, yeah.
So you'd like to think that. Okay, yeah. So that could easily be a Bournemouth win/draw. I do think Leeds are playing pretty well. So
they'll probably beat Burnley. Right. So let's say they got 3 points. That'll put them on 42. We'll leave the Tottenham game for a second. Brighton at home. A draw? Well, Brighton probably don't have much to play for, do they? At that point, where are Brighton in the league?
Brighton can still get Europa. There's hardly anything in it. Look, if you look from
anything in it, it's mental.
12th to 6th, there's 3 points.
That's absolutely insane, isn't it?
I've never seen mid-table like this before. I can't remember it ever being like this. Like 6 places is 3 points. It's like what?
All of these teams can do anything right now.
It's crazy. Like Sunderland can still get Europa League. Like what? It's mad.
Are we saying the top 3's done? Sorry, the top 5 is done. It's in 3rd, 4th, or
5th. 7 points. Yeah, probably. Chelsea aren't playing well, so
I don't know how Chelsea can financially resolve this. By the way, being in the Europa League is like it's not going to do it for them. At some point, that balloon is going to pop. They can't. Yeah. I mean, how many other assets have they got that they can sell to themselves to create fake profit? It's mental, isn't it?
It is actually mad, isn't it? Yeah, I've not read too much about it. I've actually heard a few things on Football Inc. that have been mentioned about it, but it seems like without Champions League, they are in the real shit.
So you've got. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that title thing. So you've got. So Brighton. I don't know. Brighton. Either way, let's say Leeds are safe, right? Because if they get to 42 points, they should be safe. Forest. I'm not sure. Those 5 games are fucking brutal, mate, for them.
Yeah, I think they're tough. I'm seeing a few people in the chat saying that they're not that bad, but Sunderland away is tricky, no matter who you are. Chelsea are Chelsea. They can, turn it on.
Chelsea will beat Forest at home for sure. They will, in my opinion. I don't think Forest win any of their next. I don't think they win again. I don't think Forest win again.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? This is the hope that we've got, because if Bournemouth is still with a chance of Europe on the last day, I think that's their easiest game there. But if Bournemouth are still in with a chance on the last day of getting Europe, then that's not going to be easy. So yeah, I actually think those 5 for Forest are hard.
Yeah, Barry, big up to you, Barry. How are you, mate? Good to see you.
Hello, Shawnee boy.
How are you, you bastard? You negative little shit. How are you, mate?
Well, I nearly smashed my TV, mate, when that Brighton equaliser.
Oh, so you do care. You do care.
Of course I care, mate. Of course I care. It was like a dagger to my heart. I was literally like, I nearly threw my phone at the TV and I used some expletives that I cannot repeat.
Mate, do you know what, right? Do you know what? I mentioned her at the start of the show. She doesn't know who I am, right? So I'm sure she doesn't watch it. But Shaz, who's in the chat, introduces me to this girl who's probably about my age. And she's really attractive. And she sits in front of me where she's really cool, right? She wears like sunglasses and like a Tottenham hat and all this stuff. And anyway, long story short, Shaz introduced her to me. Goes, "Oh, I know you." I was like, "Yeah, not because of why I hoped she knew me." I was like, "Yeah, you just sit one row in front of me." I said, "I met you before." She's like, "Oh, yeah, nice to meet you." Anyway, throughout the game, in the second half, she's very touchy-feely. She's holding my hand. She's putting. I've just literally said hello to this girl before the game. That's it. And she's holding my hand. She's putting her hand on my knee, and I'm like. And she was crying afterwards, right? She was crying after the game. I was giving her a cuddle and stuff, but. It was like emotional, mate. Emotional for her, emotional for everyone. Like when we conceded that fucking goal, mate, I was so like angry. I was like, for fuck's sake, every fucking time. She's gripping my fucking hand. Part of me had a little bit of a, little semi covered up.
It's a girl holding my hand.
It's been a while, Barry. It's been a while. But mate, emotions are strong, mate. So emotions are strong with you as well, were they? Emotions are strong with you.
Yeah, look. I know. I would say that I have been very in the negative camp and everything else, right? But I just wanted to, I said it. I'm going to flip flop. I flip flopped about 5 times on Saturday morning. We're going to win. We're not going to win. Oh, we're going to win. And then we got in the position, and it just reminded me of when we came back at Liverpool. Richalison ripped his shirt off, and then they went up the other end and got that winner. We have to
put a block on shirts coming off the team.
Shirts coming off with, there was 20 plus minutes to go, and it was like, we've gone too soon here. A bit like yesterday when Haaland scored, I was going, guys, don't speak. Don't go too soon. The footballing gods literally hate us. Like, they literally hate us.
It was a cracking goal. It was a cracking goal by Rutter, right? I don't know if was again from my vision, the first goal was unbelievable from Mitoma, like a half volley, unbelievable. From my viewpoint, it looked like it was unstoppable. And the second one was outside of the box, right? It was about 25 yards, and he's put it top bins, or not top bins, but sort of somewhat top bins, top of the goal.
It was inside the box, no?
Was it inside the box?
Yeah, it was inside the box. It was still. It was. Look, again,
I'm where you normally sit, right? So the other end of the pitch, so like 100 meters away. So
yeah.
But as soon as I saw it line up, I was like, oh no! And then it bang, and then you hear that sort of split second from when you see the net ripple to the away fans screaming and cheering. It's that kind of that gap between like the sound travel and the light travel. Yeah. And it's just for fuck's sake, every time.
I know. And I just think that out of everything, look, it was a much better performance. I don't think anyone could sit there and say it was a much better performance. But I just think, again, I think we, the whole Madison thing. Look, there was no way he was coming on, right? He was there.
Oh yeah, we haven't asked that because someone was asking the question. Apparently, as soon as our final sub was made, he fucked off down the tunnel.
Yeah, he went down the tunnel. So the whole thing for Madison. Look, and I get it because
does that mean that he fancied coming on?
No, we couldn't because we'd used all the subs.
No, but I mean the fact that he walked off down the tunnel. Like I thought he was just being presented as like an option, but he was never going to be used. But the fact that he fucked off down the tunnel, does that mean that in his mind he's ready?
I don't know. I mean,
because that might be another reason to get a chubby on there, Barry. Come on now.
Yeah, look. When everyone saw, like, everyone was talking about the team, right? And then I went, guys, have you seen Madison's on the bench? And everyone's like, oh my God. And then the whole mood just changed because they were like, we've got someone that can change the game. I don't think Maddison was ever going to come on. I just think it was there from a PR point of view to get one engaged, be there on the bench. Look, and for once, that's probably a good bit of PR that Tottenham have done, right? Because we're really bad at reading the room and releasing. Like the other week, we were releasing.
Yeah, we kept it quiet.
There's two new apps out. One's to do with football, and one's mate. No one cares. We're in a relegation battle about what app I'm logging on to see what of a.
First of all, I've got an update on that, right? Someone reached out to me super quickly. Someone reached out to me who watches the show and said, he goes, I'm on LinkedIn, right? So I reached back to the guy, Rob Pickering. Rob Pickering! Do you know who I am, Rob Pickering? He goes, I reached out to him. I let him have it in a private DM about my thoughts on you promoting your apps. And then I've got the private DMs that the guy sent back to him. Rob Pickering sent back to this guy.
Yeah.
With his thoughts on the feedback that he got from this guy. And it's pretty outrageous, right? But secondly, the new apps are fucking shit, Barry. I walked up to the game. I don't have I can't put my season ticket in my wallet. And nobody can. If you have had your season ticket for a certain amount of time, if you change your phone enough times, after 3 new phones, you can't download your wallet to your phone, right? It's a massive black spot in the technology of that thing. It says, oh, your wallet's been downloaded to too many phones. There's no way to clear the backlog of phones that it has been aligned to. So I've gone to the ticket office. I've spoken to the people on at Tottenham. I said, can you please, can you delete the amount of previous phones? I'm sure loads of people have had their season ticket for more than 3 years. And if you change the phone every year, then you're not going to be able to do it. So therefore, you have to use the app. So I get to the stadium, and because the app's changed, so it's a new app, you have to download the whole new app. So I had to log back into my iCloud. I had to phone up my mum and say, can you please tell me what my password is for my iCloud, blah, blah, all that sort of bollocks. Finally get it, and then you can't get the ticket. You can't get the ticket. It said there's an error. You have to change a setting on your. I couldn't get into the stadium. I only got into the stadium 20 minutes before the game, and I was there 2 hours early because Rob Pickering's fucking new app is a piece of shit. So, like, if you're listening to this, Tottenham, Rob Pickering, I've got your DMs, what you sent to a fan of the club who gave you some feedback and what you said. I could expose your lack of interest in Tottenham fans' feedback. I won't do it. I might do it, depending on how drunk I get later on. But secondly, your app is a piece of fucking shit, mate. And also, like, update your ability to be able to get to clear the backlog of phones that have been used in for wallets, because it's an absolute disgrace. Yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. Sorry, Barry. Well, what were we talking?
No, you're right. I mean, I did it yesterday. I went to a cash point and I'm putting my PIN number, and it's going, your PIN number's wrong. I'm like, no, this is my PIN number. And then it's going, oh, please, you can't, because you're just doing Apple Pay and doing all this. So the chance of pulling out cash, I don't remember last time I took cash out. Then I go onto the app and I go, oh, okay, maybe the PIN was wrong. But I'm just sat there and going, this is just all madness. We do it like, I had that as well. I didn't have a ticket, right? I had my ticket. I sold my ticket. This was like 3 seasons ago. Sold my ticket. Then I got a ticket, but it hadn't updated in the app. They scanned it at the bottom. It made the young kids let me pass. I then went up the top. They're like, you need to go to the ticket office. I'm like, mate, I'm at the bottom of the south stand. I'm not going back out to the ticket office. I spent 20 minutes. I showed them the emails. I showed them everything. And because they got bored of me arguing, they just let me in. Like, I reckon you can blatantly get in if you just
you can definitely blag your way in. And by the way, those metal detectors are the worst metal detectors I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Like, they don't work. They don't work. You could carry a knife in there and it wouldn't pick up. Like, I've walked through with like these things, right? This is a fucking 3-foot metal camera rod that if I wrapped around someone's head would knock them out. It's really heavy, right? And I put it in my pocket, inside of my jacket pocket, and it doesn't get flagged by their metal detectors. I shouldn't be saying that because I don't want to give anyone bad ideas. Be good people, but I'm just saying their metal detectors are fucking dog shit. They are terrible.
Yeah, they are bad. Although, to be fair, when you go in on the top of it, it says like leave phone, keys, wallet in your pocket. But yeah, a camera pole's obviously a bit more like
I could wrap this honestly. Like, listen to that. It's heavy. Yeah. It's heavy.
Yeah. It's nuts.
You know? Anyway.
It's not just shit.
So are we saying that James Maddison is going to be back? But back to the point I was going to, the more important thing, forget about Pickering. I will expose Pickering. Don't worry, people. I can see people saying, get the Pickering files out. I will expose it. Because what he said to the fan was, I mean, what the fan said to Pickering was pretty, was pretty like, you know, inflammatory. But the feedback was basically, do I look like I give a flying fuck what you think about my fucking work? Go fuck yourself. I don't care. Your feedback is meaningless, which I think is pretty disrespectful for a chief technology officer to be saying that. Anyway, so are we saying that James Madison was pissed off? Is that what we're assuming here? That James Madison was pissed off that he wasn't going to play?
No, he just needed an Eric Dyer, I think. Just needed an Eric Dyer.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It could be that. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I don't know. Like I've read earlier that he was never. There's this account going around. I think it's like SYZ XCL or something.
Yeah, size exclusive or whatever. Size exclusive.
Something like that. And he basically was saying that he was never going to come on. It was more of a PR stunt for the club just to get the fans excited. But then I'm like, well, I just don't really get it. Like, why would they why would they think that having him on the bench and then not using him when in the 75th minute we needed a goal? How is that then going to think that was a good idea, like just to have him on the bench, but then not actually bring him on when we probably needed to bring him on? I don't really see that logic. So I think he's ready. I think it was just a case of he didn't come on. And I think if we hadn't made if we were on 4 subs and it was still maybe 1-0 in the 80th, then maybe he would have come on. But I think he's ready. I think he's ready.
Could Xavi Simons have like ran into his own player, rolled around and hold his head, and pretended like he had a concussion injury, and then we made that change then?
Yeah,
is that something he could have done?
The issue would be he'd be out for 10 days, right? That's the only other issue.
Oh, yeah. That's clever.
So I guess in the old world, probably not, because, you know, I mean, I don't know, because you saw obviously what happened with Bozo Romero and Paulinho, and one was out for longer than the other and everything else. But I still think that you could probably, you know, get around these protocols somehow, because how one player is back but another player isn't, and it's this time and it's supposed to be 10 days or it's a week or what, do you know what I mean? It's not very clear. So I'm sure other clubs would use it and probably get away with it. But again, like I said, the footballing gods hate us, and they'd probably be like, no. We're changing the protocol to 2.5 weeks now. And Xavi Simons would be out for another 3-4 games. So then that's him done. But
I thought at the time, I was like, why doesn't he just roll around and hold his head, get a concussion injury? But then if he's out for 10 days, it's a good point. Then
I was just, you know, I mean, Bentancur, for all the hate that he gets or has got, I think to turn up and play how he played after 3 months out was incredible. I think him and Bissouma in that midfield looked much better than, you know, the Grays and the Berghvalls and everything. I thought Gallagher was decent for a change, considering he hadn't, you know. But that's what happens.
He pressed well.
When you've got professionals and you've got adults in those positions who know, everyone knows what their roles are. And that's no disrespect to your Grays and your Berghvalls and Sarrs and everything else. But, you know, Bissouma, Bentancur, Gallagher know exactly what they need to be doing in each position, and they then trust in the others to go and do what they need to do. And I think there's not necessarily that trust, but they're still a little, you know, Gray and Berghvall, we all saw didn't work up at Sunderland, right? And Gray again seemed, you know, when he came on, I think he wasn't great. Let's be honest. It's kind of been shown that he isn't as good as maybe he is, and that's not to say that he's not going to be good. And I know Lubo will be probably defending him and coming on and doing all his usual like he normally does. But you know, I'd say bar Muani, I think De Zerbi got it right. You know, on the whole with the team selection and everything else. Richie, is there a question mark that he's injured? Or I don't know, or he doesn't fancy him, or because you'd have probably you'll probably sit there and say that probably Richalison should have maybe started over Solanke. But look, it was encouraging, but again, it's the same result, right? We needed a win, and then Forest are 1-0 down in 67 minutes, and then blow Burnley away. You know what's going to happen tonight. West Ham are going to, you know, Palace still probably on the piss from last week, so they're, you know,
it's
West
mad
Ham,
that they were allowed to go out though, isn't it? When I saw that, I was like, "What are we doing here?"
Just
quarter final of the Conference League.
Mental.
Have some self-respect.
Just as what you saw yesterday with Arsenal and the Premier League and the way the refs want them to win the league, it's almost like they want us to get relegated. That's what I mean. It's mad, right? Gabriel should have been sent off. If that's anyone else, he's getting sent off. And if Haaland goes down holding his face, he's definitely getting sent off. But you know, the extra time that was added, you know, De Zerbi gets a yellow card for being out of his technical area for like the 4th time. But Arteta's doing it every single game for the last 6 years. Yeah. De Zerbi got booked for being out of his technical area. Yeah.
What? Are we having a fucking lot? I didn't see that. When did that happen?
That was early on in the first half.
That is a disgrace, bro. What are we doing here? Is that legit?
Yeah. He got told he kept going out, right? He kept going out.
That's a fucking
and he wasn't going out by much. He wasn't going out by much, right? And then he booked him. The ref booked him for being out of his technical area.
I feel like Arteta spends 99 minutes out of 90 outside of his area.
Yeah.
That is an absolute disgrace, mate.
Yeah.
Who was the referee? Stuart Atwell, was it?
Yeah.
I hate that prick. I hate him. Unbelievable. I didn't even see that. I must have been at the bar. Must have been getting drunk.
Well, no, that's the type of thing you wouldn't normally see, right? Because if there's like a break in play and he goes over and he shows yellow, you're not necessarily, when there's a break in play, you're not necessarily paying attention much, right? But yeah, literally straight over, bang, yellow card, De Zerbi at the technical. And even then, the 4th official, what I love, the 4th official's trying to pull him back and he's going, hang on a minute, I'm just chatting to the players, I'll go back in a minute. I got booked, I don't care now, I've got booked, I'm going to stay out even more. Like,
I'm fucking incensed. I'm incensed by very few things, but that incenses me. That's really wound me up. That's really taking the jam out of my donut. Don't take the jam out of my donut, Barry. It's the one fucking thing I ask no one to ever do. Leave my donut, jam included. You know, what are we doing here? How has he got away with that one?
Mental.
Absolutely mental.
I do think the referee rule, though, was not that bad for the whole game. Just a few dodgy decisions, but yeah.
The stadium has made their mind up. The stadium has made their mind up that every single referee doesn't give us anything. Like, but I was buying into it every time the referee, when he first gave a yellow card to one of our players, I was like, oh yeah, I was that guy. I was that guy that anyone who's sober, who's with their son, who's 3 rows down, is probably going, who's that fat fucking idiot? Who's that? Shut up, mate. I'm going, you're a fucking disgrace. Boo! Boo! I was really getting into it. And then I came out and I was like, boys, let me know. Was the referee like as bad as we thought he was? And everyone in the chat's like, no, the referee was fine.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad.
I don't actually think he was overly terrible against Sunderland, right? But, you know.
Yeah.
I think We're so desperate. We're so desperate to cling on to something to be against us.
What are we saying, Barry? We forget about Leeds, right? Leeds are fine.
Leeds are fine.
Sunderland, Chelsea, Newcastle, United, Bournemouth. I don't see Forest winning at any of those games, personally. Do you?
I think, look, Bournemouth at home last game of the season. They could. Bournemouth will be, obviously they've announced he's leaving, so potentially that. I don't. You're right. I don't really see. I mean, Newcastle's a question mark as well because we know how they've been playing.
They might be on the beach as well then.
Yeah, I don't know. Man United will have top 4 secured well before then, so they're not really gonna, But is that Man United's last home game? I don't know. Probably. So look, I just think they could, but we saw how Sunderland imploded. We saw how we don't know what Chelsea's going to turn up. I mean, they're just horrible. I mean, I think they're probably worse than they're on a par with us at the moment. So I think Forest will be enough. I think Forest will be all right because they've got they're on 36, right? Yeah. So I don't see us getting 5. I don't see us overtaking Forest. And the issue now is
you don't see us getting. You don't see us if we beat Wolves, 34 points, right?
Yeah.
Do you Villa away? What are Villa for? Villa already got top. Villa pretty much a confirmed top 4. We've got a decent top 5. We've got a decent record against Villa away.
Yeah.
We actually most of the time come away from Villa in the league at least with points. Leeds at home. Yeah, we do all right against Villa away in the league. We lost to them in the cup, but we do all right against them in the league. Leeds,
massive.
Yeah, you have to beat Leeds.
Monday night, 8 o'clock.
But Leeds will probably be safe by then, because if Leeds beat Burnley, they'll be on 42 points, right? So they'll be safe by then, 100%. If you get 42 points, you're safe.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's ever been relegated from the Premier League with 42 points, right? Or 43 points at least. So I think Leeds are fine.
Yeah, because we're not getting 9 points, are we? Out of those, we'd have to win 5 games.
If we beat Wolves and we somehow get a draw against Villa, that puts us on 35 points. Beat Leeds, 38 points. Chelsea away, 0 point, obviously. I don't know. And we've got a great record against Everton at home.
We then have to beat Everton to go on 41 points.
41 points. So then West Ham need to find 10 points, or Forest need to find 6. Do you see that happening?
West Ham, so they need 10. Hang on, you're saying
if we get 41, right? If we get 3 from Wolves, 1 from Villa, 3 from Leeds, and then 3 from. So that's if we get 10 points, we're on 41 points. I don't expect to get anything from Chelsea.
Sean, hasn't it taken us like 100 and something days to get 3 points?
Yeah, we're playing better football now.
Yeah, but West Ham could easily get a win. I reckon they could beat Everton.
I don't think they can be. I think Everton are fighting for Europa League. I think Everton will get something out of that game. David Moyes going back to West Ham. I think that's a big deal for them.
Are they fighting?
I think it's only us and West Ham. I think we forget Forest, we forget Leeds. I
don't think you can forget Forest, mate. I literally look at Forest and think you could end up on 38 points. I think they could lose 3 and draw 2. I think that's easily possible. They ain't beating Chelsea. I don't think they're beating Sunderland at all. Maybe Newcastle they've got a chance against, right? But if Newcastle can find a draw there, United, I don't see United doing anything but winning there personally, unless United put their feet up, possibly. But again, not sure. And Bournemouth, I don't know. I even if Forest get 4 points, I still think that Tottenham. I think Tottenham can get. I think Tottenham. It's a stretch. But I look at those fixtures and I don't want to be. If Forest fans think that they're safe because they're 5 points ahead, I think they're crowing too soon.
Yeah, I agree. I think West Ham as well. I think they could probably get Leeds at home. That game's going to be huge. Leeds at home, because that could decide. I mean, I think Leeds are safe, but it could decide something if Leeds somehow just don't get another point. Newcastle away will be tricky for West Ham, so you could say 0 there. Arsenal home, they'll probably lose that. Brentford away, yeah, you're right. They could easily not get 10 points. But then we could.
I don't know. Look, the goal difference swing as well has been the issue. You know, like we're banging on. Oh, we're 13 points clear of the drop zone. Oh, our goal difference is plus 15 or something for the rest. Now look at it. We've like got the West Ham go and win 4-0 or something tonight. It's just would be another dagger in the heart, right?
What is the goal difference?
West Ham's goal difference is the worst now. But if they,
it was about a month ago. Forest had we had a 10-goal swing on them, didn't we?
Yeah, they're banging in goals for fun. Leeds as well. Leeds were like minus 15, 16, 17. But look, I just we have to beat Wolves. If we don't beat Wolves, regardless of that,
it's finished. Yeah.
I think that is couple. If we don't beat Wolves, coupled with West Ham getting a win tonight, then it's done. We haven't.
But if West Ham do draw tonight against Palace, do we all get a little bit? Do the players? Does everyone at Tottenham get a massive boost? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
we have to. It's not done. If West Ham win tonight, then Christ, the pressure on Saturday is immense, or Sunday, or whenever we play.
People are saying phone up all the players' agents and say we'll give these players at Tottenham win bonuses, additional. We'll double your win bonuses, or we'll give you £1 million win bonus, stay up bonus, whatever. I'd be phoning up fucking Steve Parish at Crystal Palace and saying we'll give you a £2 million bonus if you beat West Ham tonight.
Is that legal?
We'll take off some of that money. We'll take off some of that money for Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure you owe us something. We'll just tweak that contract if you beat us tonight. I
don't trust Chelsea because they're awful. They were awful again. I just don't trust them. I just think that they'll just could you imagine Chelsea roll over to Forest and then West Ham go and beat Arsenal? Can you just because I still don't think it's done title race, even though Man City are playing Burnley and they could score a hatful and go ahead on goal difference. There's still going to be games that that are playing it, and just West Ham might just be, Arsenal might just be like, well, the league's, it could be to the stage where the league's gone now. City is 6 points clear or whatever. Let's just let West Ham beat us because it'll make a laugh of Spurs, wouldn't it? I don't know. I just can't believe we're in this situation. We just need to go and we need to almost forget about everything else. We need to go to Molineux and actually get a win for the first time in 3 seasons and just sit there as a little bit of, because we're playing at the same time as West Ham. There's no other game. What? Because Forest don't play, do they? Forest don't play.
We're playing at 3.
Yeah, we're playing at 3. West Ham are playing at 3.
Oh shit!
That's the Wolves game, is it?
Yeah, nice little cheeky win for Newcastle at 5:30 against Arsenal. It'll just make the weekend sweeter as long as we go and do our job.
I don't know why Arsenal fans are so. I said this before you came on, Barry. It's still in their hands. If they win, if they beat everybody by more goals than Man City beat.
Yeah, but Sean, have you seen that they've won 1 game or something in 4 years in April, and it was Sporting Lisbon. They've not won a game of football in April. In God knows how long.
Yeah, their form table over the last 6 games is actually worse than ours.
Yeah,
we've got more
worse than us. Sure,
no, it can't be.
Including Europe and the cups. If you just look at the 6 games as a whole, their form is worse than ours at the moment over the last 6, which is mental.
You'll never sing that. Last 6 form table. You'll never sing that. I mean, we just need to get that win against these little bastards.
Oh, sorry. Forest play Friday night, so we'll know exactly what we need to do. So, Forest play Sunderland on Friday night.
Jeez. On that note, I've got to go, fellas. I've got to shoot.
Appreciate you, mate. Cheers, Hayden.
Good.
Speak to you soon, mate. Take care, buddy.
See you later.
Bye, mate. Barry, can I just talk to you about this for a second? Have you seen some of these comments? Right. So this is Joe Hart. After the way that he's spinning it, mate, on Match of the Day. I love the way he spun it. Talking about De Zerbi, he's identified what he doesn't want to see, but what he wanted to see was to get that stadium rocking. The way that they pressed was really good, really impressive. In fact, it's not the Spurs we have been used to. It's not the Spurs we have seen this season. He wanted to set the atmosphere. Every single one of his players is running forward with intent, blocking passing lanes, and requiring Brighton to be perfect. And they're not giving up. It was relentless press from Tottenham, and they're eventually going to have a lot of success from it. It's so aggressive. It's the passing lanes. It's the second press. It's the passing once they turn it over. It's a real threat, and that's where the first goal comes from. You've got Bart Verbruggen. You have got Van Hecker, and you've got Pascal Gross as well. He knows that if you can block those passing lanes, Verbruggen will dither. You can catch him. You can turn it over. You can get easy wins, and you can score big goals. I feel like he really played on that today, and it was a great example of the top work that Tottenham did. This is what De Zerbi said. Brighton is a very good team in this moment. They are playing very well, but I think we deserve to win the game, especially if you consider we conceded a goal in extra time when losing one ball in possession. Anyway, I'm very proud of the performance of my players. I'm very proud because they gave it all of them their best with the right mentality, with the right blood, with the right character. We played well with the ball. We played maybe better in the first half without the ball because in the second half we suffered too much with the ball possession. But in the first half we regained a lot of ball. When he scored with Pedro Porro, when we scored with Pedro Porro, we regained the ball very high. And I'm disappointed just for the result for my players and the fans because it was an incredible atmosphere today in a very tough situation, a very difficult moment. But the stadium was great. It was amazing. I mean, do they believe, mate? Is it all just, does Joe Hart believe, or is it all just sort of like things you say, or is like when I put the polls out, Barry, everyone's like, no, we're done out here. But I don't know. Part of me thinks that we can still turn it around, mate.
Look, until mathematically it's done, it's not done, right? And that's the same at the top and the bottom. I think obviously if Tudor had been here, we know it's finished, right? So I think we know that that's what's kind of happening. I think we saw and that's why I said about the thing with Madison on the bench. It created that atmosphere, that bond. Everyone was excited. Everyone, great play, by the way. Even if he's not fit, it's a great play to have him out there on the pitch, warming up and, being on the bench. You saw when the goal went in, Xavi's goal went in, the bench was emptied. And it was, everyone was in the crowd. Everyone was loving it, right? I think they probably, I don't think we're going to win the next 5 games or whatever De Zerbi said about winning. We're going to win 5 out of 5. I mean, I think that's a little bit too far. But I think that
fucking believe it. He's got to say that shit, though. He's got to say that.
Yeah, of course he's got to say it. Of course he's got to say it. We can't sit there and go, oh no, I think it's done. It's done if West Ham. We just need to focus on us. Like, even to the point where I kind of got dragged back in a little bit. When you think, well, it's over, it doesn't matter. And I was like, there's a ticket for the weekend. Oh, am I getting pulled? Am I getting sucked back in? Am I going to get? So
what, did you give up your season ticket?
Huh?
Did you give up your season ticket?
Yeah, the start of the season. Yeah.
You gave it up, like you didn't sell it to anyone else. You just gave it up. Yeah,
just gave it up. And then, but I was sat there and I was like, it's 2:00, and I was like, could get to the stadium on time. I've seen the boys are having a few. I've seen Phil and Shawnee Boy and Shazzy all on the siders. I'm thinking, I'm getting more dragged in from that than the football. But I actually, for the first time in a long time at the weekend, I actually enjoyed watching Tottenham. And it's not been that enjoyable, right, for a long time. And I just think that maybe, I think, look, that goal right at the end, it's like we got a loss, right? I think that how we bounce back now against Wolves is going to be key, because I think that was an absolute dagger right at the end to all of us, right? To the fans, everyone was broken. Everyone was sitting there going, we're winning the game. We scored first. We're leading in added time. Oh, this is, is this going to happen? And then obviously the the rug just gets pulled out from under our feet. Oh, here we go, usual story. But I just
do you blame Kevin Danso, or do you blame the fact that we didn't take our chances in other stages of the game? Because so many people are blaming Danso, and it's such poor like analysis to sit there and say like, okay, in the situation we're 2-1 down and you've got like kick the ball up, just kick it out, right?
Yeah.
Cool, 100%. I understand that. But for me, like as much as everyone wants to champion Xavi Simons also should have squared it for Mawani, in my opinion, for the second chance just after the first goal was scored.
Yeah.
And big up to you, Alex. I feel like it's you can't analyze a game in just one moment and say that's the reason why we lost the point.
It's sliding doors as well, right? Because I think if Mathys Tel does the same thing and squares it to Archie Gray, I think we go on and beat Atletico, right? Do you know what I mean? And I think if he's not scoring, then he has to, the percentage-wise, you thinking, he's going to score all day long. But if he's not scoring that, he has to square it to give the best probable outcome.
Yeah,
for Mawani to do it.
It's about XG, right? It's about XG. That's what we've been taught. It's all about XG.
XG is nonsense, Sean. XG is absolute nonsense. And I found a new one: non-penalty XG. I mean, that is even worse, right?
Yeah.
But Kevin Danso,
but our XG and our non-penalty XG are the same, though, aren't they, Barry?
Well, yeah, rubbish. But for me, look, it's easy in the moment to sit there and say Danso should have cleared it, but no one's talking about the midfield. No one's talking about the other chances. No one's it's very easy to just put it on that, and for him to get the abuse and the racist abuse and everything else, I think it's disgraceful, right? There's no way you put that result on one player. I thought the subs, okay, we used the subs, but Paulinian and Gray didn't work, and it left us open a little bit. And I just think, I think it's like you say, it's really poor just to go in a snapshot. Oh, it's all on Kevin Danso. If Kevin Danso if he had just kicked it out, then it would have been fine. But if Xavi Simons had squared the ball, we'd have got, we'd have scored another goal. If, we would have Porro, right? The biggest criminal, Pedro Pony, mate. The biggest criminal. He's literally, the goal goes in.
Pedro Pony,
right? He's literally, right, sat there at the back post, right? And he's gone, well, who's the guy? Who's marking him? Mate, that's your guy to mark, Pedro. That's your guy to mark. Why are you stood there with your arms in the air?
For what goal? The
Thomas goal. He's literally stood off him.
Oh, yeah.
He stood off him, and then he's done his usual, come on, guys, arms in the air. And you're like, Porro, mate. That's your man.
He did score a goal with his head, mate. It felt reminiscent of Maradona '86.
Yeah, look, fair play to him. That's probably the most he's done in a Spurs shirt all season. But
come on now.
Mate, you are waffling. What are you talking about? You are.
Here we go. Your goalkeeper. I don't want your goalkeeper in this team.
I can hear you guys. It's got to run for a wee. I'll be back. Go on, James. Welcome to the show, by the way.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, you are full of crap. I've come to save the show from this nonsense that you're spilling.
What are you talking about? What crap?
First of all, there was an overload in the box. So Pedro Porro coming to help Danso, and the guy that should have been at the back post is Kolo Mawani. To be fair, he should have come back and dropped back into the area and helped out, in my opinion. So let's get that sort of off the back. And you said that you can't blame it all on one man. The loss of one man. I agree. I'll blame it on two men. I'll blame it on Archie Gray and Mathys Tel. The moment they stepped on the pitch, it was game over. It was game over. I'm not having this anymore. Oh, but his kids. Oh, look at this. Shouldn't, mate. The moment Bentancur Bissouma went off, we lost all comfortability on the ball, off the ball. It was shaky. I get told that Mathys Tel, whatever you want to call him, right, is good at beating his man and delivering the ball. There was a moment, I think it was the 85th minute, Gallagher drove into the box, played it to Tel's one-on-one with his man, and rather than beat his man and deliver the ball, he cops out, passes it back to Gallagher. Gallagher tries to take on 3 or 4 players and then cross the ball and he overhits it. For me,
No,
we
Gallagher was
lost
looking for a
that.
penalty in that moment.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. Tel should have just drove with that ball. He's one-on-one with his defender. Should have tried to beat his man and deliver the ball. For me, the moment Archie Gray stepped onto that pitch and Mathys Tel, I personally thought, I'm not happy with this. Not because of who they are. Straight away, the last 20 minutes, they just bombarded us.
But were you worried? So I get it. I think he made the wrong decision. Wrong decision. Bissouma coming off though was probably the right one.
Bringing Tel on was the right decision. He wasn't utilised the right way.
No.
If you'd watched the high line that Brighton were, sorry Barry, I'll let you come back in. You right there, James? on your fucking yogurt.
James just having his yogurt, mate.
Yeah.
I'm on a diet, boys. I'm on a diet.
Mate, I don't care if you're on any sort of yogurt doesn't do anything, mate. Yogurt's just empty calories, mate. It's like drinking cider. If you're going to pick yogurt or cider, like take cider, mate. But like yogurt, it's just 150 calories in that pot of nothingness. It doesn't fill you up. What are we doing here?
You know, but it tastes nice. It makes me feel like I'm a bit healthy.
That's what I do with cider.
Exactly. Well then, I'm not complaining about you drinking cider. Drink more cider. Makes you feel good.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Who am I? Who the fuck am I to tell you what to do? Sorry, Barry. But Mathys Tel for me was the right decision because the high line that Brighton employed, they started the game with a deeper line. And then when they realised that Tottenham weren't pressing the goalkeeper like we usually do under a Frank and a Tudor system, all this stuff, and we let them have the ball, play it out, and then we hounded the midfield. Hertzler pivoted in the 15th minute and made their line go super high, and they stayed super high the whole time. And I was saying to the guys next to me, you need someone with pace in behind that can actually take a guy on. Now you had Mawani, who does have pace, but we weren't finding him at all. He touched the ball 13 times in the whole game, I think it was, or 15 times, whatever it was in the whole game. But Mathys Tel was the right option, but we didn't play the ball into the channels anywhere near enough, in my opinion, to take advantage of the high line that Brighton presented. I don't know if you agree with that, Baz.
I do, and I don't disagree with it being the wrong subs because look, Bentancur's just come back, Bissouma's just come back. Colin is crap anyway. I don't even need to go on now. Like he's crap. Yeah. So I don't disagree with the wrong subs or right subs. It's just the level of drop off is dramatic for me, especially in that midfield area. For me, I agree with you with us not using him right, but even if you're not being used right, the moment you're, like I said, that one instance, there was a couple, but that one instance with Conor Gallagher, he left him one-on-one with his man. You think, okay, just beat him and get a ball across. And he didn't. He just passed it straight back. He kind of went backwards rather than forwards. And that, for me, was a sign of he's either extremely lacking confidence, he's not as good as people think, or he just doesn't want to be here. I think he's one of those players that are really good, energetic. He's a Pape Sarr. I think he'll do what he can do. He'll never do any more than what he's physically capable of.
Yeah, fair enough. Baz, what are you saying, mate, about how I summarise it, mate, I think that we were so much better in so many phases. So like the way that we closed down the channels and the lanes, the passing lanes, I thought was brilliant. I thought Bentancur was great. I thought Bissouma did a really good job as well. I thought he gave the ball away a little bit too much with in possession, but out of possession, I thought he did really well. However, I just felt like, and this is where I'll give a little bit of Romero credit, is that Romero's the sort of guy that can sit in the deep and then look for those. Like from my perspective, again, not watching it on the TV, so you get a different viewpoint. Where we sit, Barry, you get a vantage point where you can see things that are happening that are outside of the camera's view on the TV. Yeah. And Destiny Udogie was making countless in the first half, countless runs where he was staying out on the left-hand touchline and then running literally horizontal on the halfway line and trying to cut in. But the ball was at Danso's feet, or the ball was at Micky van der Ven's feet, and they weren't looking to knock it into not enough, nowhere near the frequency. And I think that is, if Romero's on the pitch, as much as I don't like Romero, fuck him. Well, I think, whatever. I couldn't care less if he disappears. I think that if he's on the pitch and he's motivated, Barry, I feel like he is the sort of guy that finds Udogie in those channels more of a higher frequency. We had there were so many in the first half moments where Udogie, and to a different extent, because I think Pedro Porro is slightly differently positioned, in a shape system, but Udogie specifically must have made 6 or 7 different like horizontal runs looking to move diagonally in behind, and we didn't look to take advantage. And I think that was just like it was obvious that was by design, but we just weren't following through with the game plan.
Yeah, I think so. I think James is right with the drop off. I think it was the other thing is that I think I don't like Mathys Tel, but I would have certainly started him over Kolo Muani, because I don't think this guy should ever put a Tottenham shirt on again. I don't even understand what he even does. Like he gives away fouls, he barges into people, he breaks up play for the opposition, and there is literally zero. His XG must be in the minus for what he contributes.
Well, I think he scored 1 goal in 25 Premier League games. I don't care who you are. That's diabolical, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's not like he hasn't been given a fair crack at the whip now. He's played a lot of minutes as of late. There's no reason he should be starting over anybody else, whether that's Tel or a youngster in the youth team. There's no reason why he can't have
one question that's interesting. I think that the Xavi cramp didn't help, and you can sit there and say, "Oh well, De Zerbi should have kept a spare sub just in case of injury, or whatever he wanted to, whatever." But that also didn't help. I think the encouraging thing, or the actual most difficult question De Zerbi's got for Wolves is, if Vicario's fit, does he come back in and replace Kinsky?
Absolutely
I don't
not.
think he should.
No chance. Absolutely no chance. For me, Kinsky's done well in the little things he's doing. I know people will pick up about his footballing ability, but the ability to, or the confidence to come for a cross, the confidence to come out, punch the ball away from a cross is miles better than what Vicario has.
Could either of those goals, James, be kept out?
Nah.
The first one is one of those. If it is, it's a wonder save. But for me, that's an elite finish, to be honest. And the second one, to be honest, no, that's kind of cut back, isn't it? That's a Danso clear that moment. But with what you're saying there about the subs, could he have kept subs? It works both ways, right? Because if Udogie stays on and gets injured, we blame him. If Bentancur stays on and gets injured, we blame him. If Bissouma stays on, we blame him. Kolo Muani did nothing, so why not? So it's kind of worked both ways. You can kind of say, in hindsight now, yeah, of course. Conor Gallagher covered so much ground that even I thought maybe it's worth taking him off, even though for me he was one of our better players, just pure massive amount of coverage he did. So I don't disagree with any of the subs he made. Like you said, even Tel, I don't disagree with it. Because of the position we're in.
That was the right decision, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think all of them were. I think Gray was the worst player on the pitch when he come on. But you have to take Bentancur off, right? You have to. Yeah. Because if he gets injured, you're back to square one where we have to play him every week. So I think it's a looking back on the game, it's very easy to say he got that wrong, he got this wrong, he got that wrong, he did this wrong. I'll only speak for myself. I actually was really happy with the performance. Yeah, I think a couple of mistakes. Yeah, I agree. I think if we play like that every game till the end of the season, I don't care if we don't stay up, but I can hold my head up and say, you know what? Well, we actually gave it a go. We actually tried our best to stay up. For me, if you add a top quality striker in there and take out Muani, I think we win that game comfortably.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Johnny, welcome back! Welcome back to the
such a long time.
I've been in Asia so wrong. I sound like a waste now.
Big earthquake. Big earthquake.
Oh
big up to the people in Japan there for the earthquake. Hope everyone's okay. Big 7.5 this morning.
Oh, was there? I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Tsunami warnings, the lot.
Johnny,
I've been in an earthquake.
Just quickly, before I let you wax lyrical and everything, let me just quickly get there's a couple of super chilly chit chats. One of them is from our mutual friend over in Japan, actually, Johnny Boy Turner. Big up to you, mate. I hope you're okay. Hope you're safe. I didn't know there was an earthquake this morning. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much.
Big up, John.
Choo choo to you, bro. Choo choo to you, mate. Hope you're okay, my man. And I did see your Instagram message, mate. I will respond to it in very, very short due course. Big up to you. Sean Hurl says, craziest comms. Penalty on Udogie's free kick outside the box, but not a penalty. You can't make it up. Is that the thing that we've already shown?
Yeah, probably. Listen,
I don't think it was a free kick either. But either way, big up to you, Shawnee. Big up to you, mate. Go on,
Look,
John.
I think as much as there's an agenda to not give Spurs anything, I think there's an agenda in the league to not punish Arsenal with anything. And when I look at some of the challenges Gabriel has got away with in the last 5 or 6 weeks, it's just mind-boggling, and it's infuriating. And the amount of messages I got from neutrals, West Ham fans, Chelsea fans, United fans, how is he still on the pitch? If that was Bruno Fernandes, if that was Romero, but it's not just that. There's been loads of them. And, I did feel, though it wouldn't have made any difference, there in the first 10 minutes of the game against Brighton, there were incidences on that far left-hand side near the West Stand where they were pulling jerseys. They were ripping jerseys as they were trying to break through. Not even a yellow card, nothing. Van Hecker was definitely guilty of 2 or 3 incidences. And, people can say these don't make any difference, but if you're on a yellow card...
Yeah, of course. It changes the game.
It can change the game. I don't want to go over old ground, but I've had a few messages from people, funny enough, in Korea and all over the place this morning. I just was checking my DMs, and it's interesting how many of them in other countries thought that Xavi Simons' celebration was over the top, from the point of view that, yes, you can say, he was celebrating a goal and, it's been a long time since he scored and all the rest of it, and it was an important goal. My angle on it is fine when it's in the last minute, but when you run halfway around the pitch, expelling that much energy, get yourself a yellow card and can't even finish the game at 22 years of age, you got cramp on 80 minutes and you're more or less a passenger for the last 10 minutes. I don't think it's a good look. I'm not, I think what he did some fantastic things and he did some frustrating things. The goal was absolutely fantastic. The pass for Porro's goal was fantastic. The not squaring the ball for Mawani for a certain goal was frustrating. And the constantly going down and throwing your arms up in the air was a bit frustrating. But if he can produce that sort of performance week in and week out, I think, fantastic. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious. I said before the game in my pre-game that I thought bringing in Bentancur and Bissouma allowed Xavi that freedom that he's not been able to have under these last 2 managers. And I think we saw clearly the uptick in his game when he's allowed that sort of freedom between, Bissouma, Bentancur, who
also
for me
was maturity on the pitch in the midfield, right? Just understanding the game and the game state. Like Berghvall didn't do anything when he came on. And
apart from win the ball, track back, win the ball, that allowed him to score. I thought, there's been so much bad stuff about Bentancur. We should never have given him. Yeah, we should never have given him a contract and all the rest of it. This guy's been out for nearly 3 months. He's come back in. He's managed, 67, 70 minutes, and he was absolutely outstanding, right? For me, he's our Rodri. I mean, he's a poor version of Rodri. He's not as good as Rodri, but we saw the downtick in possession and passing ability. As soon as he went off, I thought we dropped a level.
For sure. Yeah, I'm harsh on Bentancur because I don't think he's that great of a player, but I thought he played very well on Saturday. Sorry, go on, Joe. In fact,
I know
James,
you're going to say about Xavi, right, Flower?
James, just before you
I am. Because
one second, James, just give me 1 second, mate. Sorry, I just want to get this super chat done because it's been there waiting for a long time. Yeah, Josh Caress, big up to you, Josh. He says, Sean and guys, what's your thoughts on Spurs being the only team in the Premier League history to not get a penalty for an entire season, assuming no pen in the last 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's obviously a talking point, Josh. It's obviously a talking point, mate. But I don't really remember how many clear and obvious penalties we've actually missed out on. I feel like it's like, yes, it's an anomaly that we haven't had one crazy, but at the same time, I don't feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel like there's been like numerous examples of clear.
You know why, Sean? You know why, don't you? You got to be in the box to get a penalty.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Go
so
on,
there's like
James.
two sides to it. Yes, it's an anomaly, but I also think that, you know, we probably had as many clear and obvious penalty shouts in the entire season as some of the other teams get in a month. You know, we're not doing enough in the box to be able to justify it. Go on, James. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the whole world is against Tottenham going down, to be honest. And look, everyone can have their own opinion. So when Xavi does that, I'm all for it, to be honest, because I was one of those that kind of started reading a few things. Xavi turns up late to training. Xavi doesn't care. Xavi this. Sticks one in the top corner, and he's a big fucking like F everybody. I love this. I'm glad I done that. I've put us in front. Ultimately, yeah, maybe it was a step too far because we drew and we didn't win. But the one thing we need at the moment in this circumstances is a bit of pride, a bit of passion, fight for the club. And then when he does do it and he gets his reward for it, we kind of knock him for celebrating like it means something to him. So for me, I'm all for that. Again, in hindsight, obviously we didn't win the game.
James.
But
James, what I'm saying is, right, I totally agree. What I'm saying is, I totally agree with you. He's entitled to do that, but there are levels. That's all I'm saying. He got a yellow card, right? He was knackered. He couldn't even finish the last 10, 12 minutes, right? He was walking around the pitch because he collapsed twice in front of me. My point is that had he made another late challenge, right, from being tired on the yellow card, he's gone off. We wouldn't be saying that. And I just think you have to be a little bit smart. Had he scored that goal in the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the game to win the game, no one's saying that. It was just 20 minutes to go. That sort of celebration, like you just won the World Cup with the last minute equaliser, I just thought was a little bit over the top. I totally get what you're saying, and I agree with you.
I do get that, but sometimes I think like when you're being criticised every day of your life and made up stories every day of your life, and you kind of prove everybody a bit wrong, sometimes it's a lot of emotion, right? It's a big, like I want this. 100%. I want us to stay up. I want to be part of Tottenham. I want us to be together. I want us to, whatever it may be. Sometimes I feel like it's very easy to go, you know, that's wrong. If we won that game, would anyone say that was a wrong thing to do? Everyone would have gone, amazing, showed passion, run his, and even now, I look at this, he run his heart out. He couldn't walk, and he's up, and he's trying to make things happen. He's still trying to. I can't ask for anything more.
We finished with 10 men, though, Jay. I hear what you're saying.
Johnny, people making out like, oh, the reason why we finished with 10 men was because of him jumping into the crowd. Like,
no, but he did run around. I mean, in fairness, right, before he even jumped around the crowd, he was running like, you know, if I go mental. Right, if I go mental and run, I mean, I'm a lot older than him, but if I go mental and start running around the fucking dining room, right?
Yeah, but he scored the goal and he ran into the corner like most people do when they.
No, he didn't. He ran to the right first. He ran round and then he ran into the crowd.
Yeah, I don't think he burnt more than an extra 0.25% of energy doing that. Like, I think he still would have been. He still would have been fucked either way.
I know, but should he be dead at 22 years of age as a professional footballer in 80 minutes? I'm asking that question.
Well,
he hasn't played much football. He hasn't played much football for Tottenham. New league, new physicality.
Yeah,
but I'm sure we can all admit it's different playing games than it is training, right? Otherwise, that's like saying Madison should walk back into the team, play every minute of every game. He's been in training for 3 months.
Well, listen, look,
right?
when I was in Japan, right? I mean, I normally do about 4,000 or 5,000 steps a day, right? When I was in Japan, I was doing between 15 and 19,000 steps a day every day for 3 weeks. I had no training for it. But what I'm saying is I still lasted the fucking course. I just think as a professional footballer, of someone of 22 years of age, I was a little bit surprised. Listen, I'm not slagging.
That's fine. But
yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and agree with you or with anyone else, because I see a lot of people saying this on Twitter that the reason why he couldn't do the last 10 minutes was because he spent his last % of energy in a celebration.
No, I'm not saying that.
I don't believe that for a split second. Like, I think that's just even if he scored the goal and went, get the ball, we're going for a third. and then just kept his head down, I still think he would have been puffing out of his arse. And maybe you're right, Johnny, that he shouldn't be puffing out of his arse after 80 minutes. That's a fair point.
That's all I'm saying.
That's fine. But people that are aligning the fact that the celebration was the reason he couldn't finish the game, I think that's a stretch.
Yeah, I think Johnny as well. You need to. You didn't have the training, but you still sound like you smoked 80 fags a day while you're in Japan with your voice.
Yeah, I was, mate. Because like I swear to you, my life, mate. Honestly, it's like it's hard. It's a hard graft, but it's well worth it.
I've got a little bit of friendly banter with Johnny here, right? Because I've never actually said this to him before, but this is always the case. I love it. You know when you're calling in a sickie at work. And you got flu, right? But you're not really that sick. You got a little bit of a sickness, but you're not really that sick. And you kind of put on the.
You're going to say I go up and down, aren't you?
Oh no, hi boss. Yeah, I can't make it in today. My throat's swollen up. I can't swallow. When I speak to Johnny in the morning, I go, "All right, Johnny, how you doing, fuckface?" And he goes, "Oh, all right, Sean. Oh, okay." within about 3 minutes of the conversation, Johnny's forgotten that the conversation's all going on. He's back to talking absolutely normally.
Yeah, let me tell you. Let me tell you. I was listen. This ain't the old days when you used to stick your head on the radiator and run down. I used to do that as a kid. Stick my head on the radiator, on the boiling hot radiator, run downstairs and say I'm not feeling well. And my dad used to say, "Stand in the corner." I says, "What for?" He says, "Until you let your head cool down."
Yeah.
Right?
Then we'll do. Then we'll do
what
the
do you mean?
Yeah,
and he goes, "See, nothing. Now you can walk to school."
Yeah.
Yeah,
very good. Listen, guys, I've got to ask, right? Had Tottenham won that game 2-1? Had Tottenham won the game 2-1? Right, we already knew that Forest had won. We already knew that Leeds had won. So not Forest. Yeah, Forest had won. But had Tottenham won the game 2-1, would you be sitting here saying we're staying up?
No, I think, well, from my point of view...
Everything else was equal. We just got the additional 2 points.
Yeah.
Was it the points that matter, or was it the performance that mattered going into the final 5 games?
I think both. Listen, at the end of the day, performance counts for nothing. If we'd have played shit and won 1-0, I would have taken that all day long. Yeah. It's all about... Look, the performance is great if we're at the start of the season, right? But we're at the end of the season, and... the performance is great. It's encouraging as fans because we watched so much shit this season. But ultimately, we need points and nothing else matters. Nothing. If we got to have an own goal, if we got to go on a run like Arsenal, who ended up scoring 3 own goals in 2 games, right? And to win 2 games, and that's how it runs for us. Fantastic. Unfortunately, we're not getting any rub of the green at all. With decisions, freak goals, unbelievable goals, deflections. I mean, the goal against Sunderland, when you look at how well Sunderland played against Aston Villa yesterday, that result, against Sunderland away looked pretty good. And let's be honest, Brighton are a team in form right now, and they have been for a good few games now. And our history of playing Brighton, even when we got a full fit team, with Harry Kane, it's always been a team we seem to sort of struggle a bit with. I just think it's about wins now, and I think we need to get at least 4 wins. Excuse me, for us to stay up.
Yeah, I think if West Ham win tonight, I think we can win 3 games, and I think that still gets us relegated.
I agree.
If West Ham win tonight, we need to win minimum of 4. I agree with that, because I think Forest will drop down. I think if Forest lose to Sunderland, then there's game on and we win, because that'll be 3 points, and they've got a tricky 2 or 3 games back to back to back. But then that would be us beating Leeds, who could potentially be already up. So for me, I don't know. But my question isn't, are we going down or not? My question is, if we win 3 games, does that keep us up?
How many points will that get us on? 40?
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure? Because imagine if West Ham win tonight, that means they've only got to win 2 games for the rest of the season, and we would have to win a lot.
Yeah. I personally think that Forest are the target, not West Ham.
I got to say now, with West Ham having playing Leeds in the last game of the season, and really Leeds not having anything to play for, I think it's going to be, it's going to be a tough one. But Spurs are record breakers. We always set some.
When was the last time a team? When was the last time a team?
Well, that's what I was about to say.
And still went down.
I was about to say. 42 points. We could still get relegated with 42 points. We could be the first team to be relegated with 42 points in. I don't know how long. Yeah, that's Spurs, isn't it?
Well, if that's the case, then so be it, right? But if Tottenham take care of business, like. I genuinely think that 42 points is now. If Tottenham score 42 points, and for that we need 11 points, right? So you need 3 wins and 2 draws.
But what about 40? What about 40? Because I think 40 is a bit more realistic.
So 3 wins.
Yeah,
from
Wolves, Leeds, and Everton.
We basically need West Ham to lose tonight, because if they do, they've got Everton, Brentford, who are chasing Europe, Arsenal, Newcastle away, and then that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Whereas right now, Chelsea away is not difficult. Newcastle are playing poor. Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Chelsea, I think I don't see Forest winning again. I really don't.
Really?
That's silly. That's silly, Sean.
Who do you see Forest beating in that
Newcastle at home, Bournemouth, Newcastle at home, Bournemouth at home.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Bournemouth are a brilliant team.
I think Forest can easily go to Stamford Bridge and get a point.
Bournemouth do not lose games of football.
Also, Bournemouth, you got to remember their manager's leaving. That's the last game he's going to be with them in that team.
Bournemouth don't lose.
They're
They're back in the hunt for fucking Europe.
13 games unbeaten.
Newcastle's the one that I think is a reasonable shout. I think Man United away, Forest aren't going to do anything up there, in my opinion. Newcastle, I agree, because Newcastle are too far away from Europe now, and they're safe and they're shit at the moment. So like Newcastle, I can see potentially. Sunderland are still in a European chase. Chelsea still in European chase. Like Chelsea could get caught by and end up out of Europe if they're not careful. So for me, Chelsea 100% will be a team that I would expect to beat Nottingham Forest. I know Chelsea are a bit of a dodgy team, but I don't see Forest winning there. I don't see Forest winning at Sunderland. Maybe Newcastle, I'll grant you. I don't see them doing. Man United, maybe they're safe because they know they're going to be in Champions League, but it's their final game of the season, and they're playing very good football at home, generally speaking. I know they lost to Leeds the other week, and then Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are a fucking brilliant team. But Bournemouth do not lose very often. Very, very rarely do Bournemouth lose. So for me, I don't see Forest getting above 40 points. Tottenham have to figure out how to get to 41 points, in my opinion.
I mean, out of those games, though, look, I've lost count how many times I've been watching Wolves or gone to Wolves. I go up there, have a fantastic curry after we got beat.
Yeah,
right.
Because we've got a terrible record against Wolves. We've got a very good record against Everton. We've got a terrible record against Chelsea.
We've got 3 away games. Got 3 away games, and all 3 are difficult. Even Wolves. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we got 3 away games. West Ham have got 3 home games, right?
Yeah.
I think, Sean, the other thing as well, if we're saying 42 points is what we're trying to get to, could there be a potential that Newcastle don't win another game and they get dragged into it?
No, how many points in Newcastle? Newcastle have got.
They're on 42. No. They've got to play.
No, Newcastle.
They've got to play Arsenal, Brighton, Forest, West Ham, and Fulham. They could not win another game of football.
That's not easy.
Yeah, but all they need is a point. No one's ever been relegated with 43 points, have they?
No.
I don't know.
West Ham were 42 points in 2002, 2003.
So if we win those 3, do you think we stay up? You do?
41 points, I think, will be enough.
Well, no, it's 40, isn't it? 40.
Yeah.
That's 40 points, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we can get a point away at Villa. I actually think we could beat Villa. We've got a really good record away at Villa. We have got a really good record away at Villa.
Not when I've been.
if we,
Right, Johnny, don't go.
yeah,
Don't
not
go
stay
to
home,
the
mate.
no.
Stay home.
Don't go, okay?
Do not go to Wolves and have your, or go
watch
to
what
Wolves,
you said.
but just have a curry. Don't go to the game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think though, if we go out and I mean, if I haven't seen us do it all season, so I don't know what I'm basing this off. But if we go out and stuff Wolves 3-4-0, and then you go on to Villa, I think Pete De Zerbi will say, "But Brighton we were so unlucky. Sunderland we deserved the draw. Battered Wolves." It kind of turns the attitude a little bit. You go into the Villa going, "Look, boys, we've seen the upgrade. See, you can do it. Let's keep going." And then from there, I think that it's just another step. Whereas I think the same thing happens with West Ham. If West Ham get their 3 points tonight, those games where you go, "Oh, they're tricky," I think they win.
Listen, all I know is the only way I can save my season, right? The only way to go into the summer happy is if somehow miraculously De Zerbi, who I think is definitely the right man for Spurs, I can see there's so much that's right that's been wrong in these last fucking 2.5 whatever years. If he can pull us out of it, and I believe he can, with what we've seen in the uptick in the way we play, the progression of the ball, the passing forward, and Arsenal don't win anything, that for me would be a fantastic season. It really would be.
The last time, Sean,
okay.
the last time we won at Villa Park was the 10th of March, 2024.
Yeah, last season before last, right?
Was that with Harry Kane?
No.
That
we
was
went there.
with,
We went there and won 4-0, didn't we?
No, that wasn't. That was with the only players that are available now will be
No, but forget
Van
all
der
that.
Ven. Shut
Forget all
up,
that.
Sean. Van der Ven, Pedro Porro, question mark over Vicario, and Udogie and Bissouma.
Yeah, but who was that? It was Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do it 4-0.
The scorers that day: James Maddison, Brennan Johnson, Sonny, and Timo Werner.
There you go.
I remember that game. What was the score? Was it 4-0?
4-0, yeah.
4-0. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's a different Villa team
We've got
now.
a great record against fucking
Different Villa team now, mate.
Oh, hang
Different
about.
Villa
We all say, oh, we go to Chelsea and we never get a thing away from Chelsea. This particular team has never lost to Chelsea. If we're going to play that logic, then let's do that logic. But we shouldn't do that logic because there's things.
Do you know what, Johnny? It isn't actually that much of a different team. Is Bailey still there? And Douglas Luiz?
No, Bailey's not there.
Huh?
Bailey's not there, and Douglas Luiz is
Tammy
there.
Abraham, Tielemans.
So Martinez, Longley, Pau Torres, Matty Cash, Digne,
Longley's not there.
Longley's gone.
McGinn,
Longley's at
Tielemans, and
Madrid.
Watkins. It's pretty much, there's not much change in that team from what it is now.
It's irrelevant though.
No, I'm not saying it's relevant. I'm just giving you what the facts are, Sean. You know,
The good thing is that they will be playing
facts.
Nottingham Forest
don't
in
care about
between
your
those
feelings.
games. Yeah, they'll
And
be
my
playing
feelings are
Forest.
strong.
And tell me something. Do you think Forest are going to do what we did?
What, and throw it for the Europa? No, absolutely not.
Stay up and win the Europa League. Finish 17th and win the Europa League.
Yeah, but Forest aren't going to win the Europa League. They've got to get past Villa first.
Well, stranger things have happened, mate.
Oh, listen, we're all claret and blue that day, mate. Just to fuck up.
Just what injuries.
Marinakis has tried his usual. I'm moving my ownership out of Nottingham Forest into a blind trust again, so that just in case they do qualify for the Champions League, then they can participate alongside Olympiacos.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they missed the deadline again, didn't they?
It was meant to be March, mate. You got to do that. Remember?
He's like, I don't know what he does between March and April. He goes on like he gets in a burger fucking coma or something. He forgets that he's got to do a little bit of admin for his football club. Listen, guys, we've got 5 minutes until Football Inc. starts. We're going to redirect everyone over to Football Inc. Just let me ask you guys this last question then before we go. What are you going to do if we go down?
Nothing.
Continue
Everything
to
continues
support
as
the
normal.
club.
Absolutely, everything continues as normal. Norwich away would be good.
Norwich away, yeah. Got any connections there, James?
Norwich away, ole, ole.
For me,
Carrow Road.
I mean, nothing.
Let's be
Nothing
having
changes.
you. Let's be having you.
But for me, nothing changes. It's all well and good saying all this crap, sitting over far. Look, I want to be in the Premier League, but it doesn't matter if we're in League One or League Two. I'd still support my club in the same way. Still watch them all the time. I'd still want them to win every game. That is what it is. You just want them to be at the highest level as possible, right?
Yeah. I think what I'll be looking forward to is James Flower getting a box for Norwich and inviting us all up. I mean, that'll be quite nice, wouldn't it?
Flowers Plumbing.
Flower
Can I just say,
sponsor, match day sponsor at Carrow Road?
Can I just say, guys, the links, like, you know, if the Tottenham board are going to the papers and trying to get links to get the fans' juices flowing for next season, you know, Carl Darlow from Leeds United, Robinson, who, you know, I'm quite happy to take on a free, Senesi on a free, and Carl Darlow, that ain't gonna get the juices flowing.
Well, first of all, I'll take Robertson all day long as a squad player.
I just said,
and I'll also take Senesi all day long. He's a great player. But what worries me is that we're like, on the condition that we're staying up, then we are signing these players on a free. Yeah. Like, that's the part that worries me. Right? I don't care that they're free transfers, because I think they're good players, right? The Leeds goalkeeper, whatever, it's irrelevant. But those two players. But like, if we stay up, then given that this season we've had 100 million quid from the Champions League, or 80 million, whatever it's going to be, given that we've been on TV most weeks, then the TV merit money will be pretty good. I know that the money for the staying up the season.
We didn't spend in January because we were saving for the summer. For all of those reasons, you would imagine that if Romero's going to leave and you're going to get 45 million, 50 million quid for him, or whatever that release clause is, you're probably going to get 80 million quid for Micky van der Ven. Other people are going to leave, whatever else, who want to get out. Even in a world where we're staying up, we're already being peppered with free transfer signings to replace these players. Yeah. If the best you can get in a world where we stay up is free transfers, what does that fucking schedule us for if we go down? It's going to be horrendous. It's going to be the worst summer transfer news speculation. Transfer news, views, and clues are going to be absolutely abhorrent in a world where we're not even going to be able to sign. We're not even going to be able to sign Chris Wood. Even Chris Wood would turn us down. Yeah.
The good thing is, though, mate, you'll earn a few more quid because it's 46 games a season.
Well, I don't think I will. I know, because I make most of my money in the transfer speculation. But when there's no transfer speculation, if I'm putting out saying Tottenham are linked with James McAvoy from Hearts or from fucking Aberdeen or whatever else, I'm gonna be no one gives a shit about that. So I'm gonna have to find a new career. I'm gonna have to change.
Most of it is made up bullshit anyway, so nothing's gonna change.
True, that's true.
Lubo will be happy though, won't he? Because Lubo will have all the kids coming through. He'll be talking about all the kids coming through and playing.
Yeah, the problem with that is, mate, if you look at all the teams that have done well this year in the Championship, there's no kids that are participating in those teams, in those squads at all.
There's no kids in the Premier League teams either, apart from, you know, there's one maybe, not six. You know, so
Lubo's wet dream. Look.
Yeah. He's rubbish, man. He's so rubbish.
No, I think you're right. Just, you know, I know, you know, in terms of what happens, we won't know until it happens. But I don't trust this football club to make the right decision under this leadership with the Gooners infiltrating things. You know, I just think that we'll make, you know, we'll have that arrogance about us that, oh, it's all right, Archie Gray and Berghvall and a Solanke maybe, or a Richalison up front will be enough for the Championship. And I think we'll be in for a shock. You know, I think, you know, you've got to think that.
Do you think we come straight back up again, Barry? Or what's your chances?
We should do.
60, 40, 80, 20, 90, 10? What's your thinking?
80, 20.
Probably 70, 30, I would say. 70, 30. Because I think the issue is going to be we're going to be, again, all the fixtures are going to be moved because they'll want us, they'll want us on, I don't know, what is it, Sky Sports, EFL, or whatever channel it'll be on. It won't be on Main Event or Premier League or what have you. So I think that the chances of a scalp where, and all due respect to Lincolns and your Oxford Uniteds and Portsmouths and all of that, there's a massive massive thing for that. And look at what it is. What are we going to need? 85 points plus to get promoted. So, we're going to have to put a hell of a run together. And I think that the other teams will have, there'll be no VAR. Maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there'll be players with experience that will know how to get out of that league and will know how to play. And I think these players just won't know how to play in a completely different league. And they'll be like, they'll be going to grounds where, the changing rooms like the size of, where we're streaming from the back of Flowers' van. Do you know about porter cabin and stuff? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be like marine.
You ain't welcome in the back of my van.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be in the back of your van. Mate. I don't want to be in the back of your van, mate.
I'll be in the back of your van for a couple of hours. James.
I think. Look,
You're welcome.
I just think. Whatever happens, if we stay up and we do enough to stay up, then we can't be just relying on these free transfers, because we'll be having the same conversations this time next year, because it won't be good enough.
For me, yeah. On the, say for example, Everton or Chelsea's the final, that is when we stay up. It's confirmed, right? We're staying up. On that day, I want to see Landry Vinay sacked. On that day, it should be, we are going in a new direction. Off they go. This is the plan. This, and this. And if that doesn't happen on that ultimate final point, then nothing has changed. As it stands, we're being linked with free agent after free agent after free agent. I don't think anything's going to change anyway. But if that doesn't change, it's almost like, yeah, we got it wrong. We don't really care. Whereas if they kind of come out and go, yeah, underperformance, fired. It would be like, well, you come out and give us lies about we couldn't find anyone better. You come out and told us we're going to be doing this, and this. Binay is meant to be a communicator that's just gone missing, doesn't communicate anything anymore. So for me, if he's still in a job, the end of the season, or both of them, then it's game over for next season. Because I don't see how.
It's the most damning indictment.
We need that stadium is built for a modern day life Hunger Games. Vinay and Lange, last game of the season, brought on and just brutally murdered in the centre circle.
God. Well, there you go. There's demonetisation. The owners of this show do not subscribe to any violence against anybody. Raddy-daddy-da, la-ta-ta-ta-ta. We don't condone any of that sort of nonsense on this channel. Barry, I want to say a massive thank you to you for coming on, mate. Absolutely great to have you, mate. As always, a pleasure, mate. And please come back again very soon. I'll speak to you afterwards. James, lovely to see you, mate, as well. We got to go. I've got Football Inc. starting right now. We're a minute and a half late. Guys, stay where you are. We're going to go and talk stay where you are. We're going to redirect you right across to Johnny and I on Football Inc., where we talk about all of the games that have happened this weekend and everything else outside of football, including Tottenham, of course. Love you all. James, thank you so much. Barry, thank you so much. Appreciate both of you. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate everybody. Love you all, guys. Take care. And as always, stay where you are. Bye-bye.